Hey everybody, welcome to Studio Sunday. So the news this week is we finished shipping all the orders for the Complete Paradise 2, the really Complete Paradise 2. Domestic and international orders have been completely shipped. So either you have your order by now or it's on your way. In other news, I've got a new edition of Parker Girls that was sent to me by Delcourt, our publisher in France. And they now have finished the omnibus of Parker Girls. It's a gorgeous book that matches in the design and the way it's made. It matches the other books of mine that they have done. So it sits really nice on the shelf with the other Delcourt books. And now my characters are smarter than me, of course. We knew that all along, but they speak French. They actually speak 21 languages. My books are in 21 different languages. Parker Girls, in Delcourt edition, in France and in Europe. Yes, you could live in America and order one of these. You could live anywhere in the world and order one of these. People ship everywhere in the world, just like we did the Kickstarter. So if you're a completist and you want the French version of Parker Girls, there you go. Another thing that happened over the week was I was lucky enough to win a Spammy Award, which is the Inkwell Awards. So thank you for that. I'm very honored. It's a very cool award. I'm honored to be nominated and to have won it. Thank you very much. I'm grateful. Okay, the other news is that the sketchbook that I took to Tucson, virtually only 2 sketches sold. It wasn't really an art show. And so I have these sketches headed for Baltimore this week. Robin and I and Mike and I are going to Baltimore, and I'll be taking these sketches to Baltimore. And I would love for if you are into art and my sketches, I really poured my heart into these. And I think I have some good ones in here waiting for you. So yeah, come check them out. And I will keep drawing, of course. I drew this one today, and which leads me into the art section. I was drawing this and I was thinking how different this is from drawing comics. That may sound weird, but let me explain, okay? All right, let me show you what I mean. So this is the sketch I finished today, and I like it. I think I'm getting better. Every time I think I finished a sketch, I always pick it up and see something I need to tweak. And usually what happens is I'll finish a sketch. I think it's good because I'm looking at it up close, and then I put it over there on the computer scanner, scan it up, and it's on my screen, and I see it from a different perspective, and I instantly see something wrong. Something doesn't line up or whatever. So it's really common for me to scan art several times. I'll scan it, see a problem, delete that, come back over here to the drawing table, fix it, scan it, see a different problem, back, I wish I could see it all at once, but hey, I'm glad I can find anything I can to tweak it. So while I was drawing this, it occurred to me, this could not be any more different than from drawing comics. And it's strange because I'm drawing my comic book characters, Kachu, Francine, from Strangers in Paradise, but drawing sketches of them and doing pinups has absolutely nothing in common with drawing comics. And I thought somebody should point that out and show you what I mean. Here is a book of pinups, and all of them are cool scenes, cool moments, but it's not telling, it's not storytelling art. It may have a story in the moment, a story in the picture, but it is basically pinup art. Here is a painting, here's a drawing of a painting, here's a moment in the lives of these characters. That has nothing to do with storytelling art. Here's an issue of Parker Girls. We're advertising the pinup book. In the storytelling art, it's all more about the entire full body and the gestures. Notice the difference between me trying to draw all the nuances I can in Francine's face versus when I'm drawing these faces, it's just pen and ink. That's just pen and ink. And all I can get right is the general indication of an eye and which way they were looking. Same with the nose. The nose was shaped like this. There was a little bit of shading underneath the nose. You know, that's what you're doing. The man, his face shape was like this. He had that big wrinkle on the side of his cheek like that. No nuances, no shading for me. And I'm more worried about how they leaned towards each other. And can you relate to that? Have you ever done that on a plane? Lean towards your friend and talk to them. Holding the phone and leaning in on your partner, looking at the phone. The body gestures are more important than making a pretty drawing with facial textures and shading and toning. Look at the stark difference here. Just iconography. She looked like this. If I had to draw it with a pen, she looked like this. And when she walked like this. There's Francine. It's the same person. There's Francine. There's Francine. That's how I do it in a comic book with storytelling art. Here's how she walks. There's what she wore. But here is just a moment where you're meant to just basically fall in love with her. She's just adorable. And I'm doing everything I can to indicate, look at the tones, the tone of her hair and the tone of her mouth, her lipstick, and how these tones were so matching with her brown eyes. You know, those are things that you're not trying to go for in here. All I'm going for is the gestures now. Same Francine. It's all about shade, body language. The best I can tone with this is to do the little lines with the fine point microns or whatever you're using. This may easily have been drawn with a Hunt 102, either a Hunt 102 or a micron, because I see little scratches in there. To see the white and the white and the dark scratching. It looks like it's more of a micron. Because if you go fast with a micron, it'll do that scratching once you've got them broken in. Okay, so here's Francine walking, and there's a fat guy walking by giving her the eye. And his wife looking at him, body shapes, body language. That's all I care about in the comic. Storytelling. They went through this door, they came down this escalator. From the escalator, they could see this guy waiting for them, the little handoff with the key, no words were exchanged, and they're out of the airport. Go to the car waiting for them. There's a package in the car waiting for them. It's all the gun material that Becky the gun girl needs. See, they flew into this area and didn't have to worry about security. Their contacts have everything they need waiting for them in the car. Leaning against the wall in the shower because you're dead tired. Do you know what that feels like? Have you ever done that? I have. And that's what I drew. This is what it felt like. And then you're clean finally and standing on the porch of your nice hotel, looking at the Paris skyline. Crawling into bed with your robe on and falling asleep because you're so tired? Yes, that's what that looks like. See, this is all I cared about in the storytelling art. What they did, how they moved, what they looked at. And then when it came time for the fun stuff, going out to the porch to check the noise outside. And the noise was on purpose. She left the door open. When she goes back into the kitchen, the person is waiting for them in the kitchen. And I needed to use my imagination or remember movie scenes to know what this looks like. Getting the rope around the person's neck and then doing that. Da-da-da. These are the same arms that can curl, 50-pound weights each, something. Reaching for the knife, can't get it. The knife is still in the wood. Down she goes. The knife stays there. That was her weapon of choice. It didn't help her because this person, the Parker girl, is much better. Parker girl goes upstairs, kicks open the bathroom door, finds the bad guy who's been peeping on Francine, finds him on the toilet, kicks his head into the wall. Broke his frickin' neck in one kick. Pretty cool. Okay, goes in there. I need her to go to the camera and take the card out. Walk away. And she tosses a business card on the dead guy's chest, and it's somebody that she wants to have a lot of legal trouble for these people, dead people being found later. There you go. That's storytelling art. That's a whole different mental mode for me. It has nothing to do with this. This is me trying to get good at drawing pencil portraits, pencil drawings, you know. And I'm still using my character design and my cartoony approach. There's no realism in here. It's just me trying to make my cartoon drawings more realistic by adding some tone there, and tone in the eyes, and then tone the hair. But there is no toning on the skin. A realistic person would take a pencil and work all of this in here and then do the highlights of the contours of the body. I'm not going there. I'm never going to do that. But I did try to find a look where there's a compromise between my comic art and my sketch art. And the reason why this was on my mind lately is because I'm realizing how many of my sketches are static. These two have a little bit of motion, but a lot of times I'll just draw them just standing there looking good, standing there looking menacing. A nice little moment here, leaning in. Oh, that's the one I did yesterday. Holding each other. I see something to fix on this. A lot of this, portrait, kind of a portrait. And all I cared about was just making a beautiful image, a portrait. And it has nothing to do with storytelling. You can read a story into it, like what is Kachu looking at? What would make her eyes go a little bit glassy like that? And it's going to be something emotional. Or Francine just having that little look in her eye, again, a glassy look. And there's no telling what's on her mind at that moment. But it is very attractive. These are the kind of moments, like I said earlier, where you see someone, you see that little thing, it touches your heart and you fall in love with them. So I'm trying to capture that. With Zoe, this could be a scene in a comic. The thing about it is that in order to draw a full figure, you have to really reduce like the head size. See the head size on the page versus, the pretty portrait. So now that's the key to the whole page. The rest of it is just filling it in and supporting that and making this worthwhile. And these are harder to sell for me at a convention. This drawing has been to 2 conventions and people just flip right by it. But they will stop and look at the pretty portrait because they want to study the face. They're looking at somebody and paying attention. So I have stopped drawing full figures for my sketches. I tend to draw more of these, facial portraits because that tends to be what catches somebody's eye. If you see Mike from Motor Girl glaring right into your eyes, that's a little bit striking, and it'd be cool to have Mike up over your desk glaring at your client over your shoulder. You know what I mean? Versus this little story in a panel here, where you really need to read that. You need to have seen this movie. You have to be in the know to appreciate this one. But this one is just, it doesn't matter if you read Strangers in Paradise or not. There's a pretty portrait. If you read Strangers in Paradise, you know who she's in love with. Here's some original art from the book I just showed you. And look at how different I'm drawing the people. I just think it's worth pointing it out, that it's 2 different disciplines. And for some reason, because this is what I did the most over my career, I got good at this. And I did not get very good at this. And every time I draw a pencil portrait, I'm trying to get better. I am comfortable with drawing more iconography characters like this, and making the pen and ink style fill it out a little bit. You indicate shade, indicate a little bit of shading, indicate the tone of the lips. Everything else is black or white. That's not the case over here. I got to indicate that wool knit cap, the little gloss in her red eyes. Her eyes are red. Both their eyes are red. There's a reason for that in the story. And then, you know, the little, the blush on her cheek, all the way down in here, the textures, the hair, all that. Notice how I do the hair over here versus the hair over here. It's just night and day. So I guess what I'm saying is, if you've been drawing mostly pinups and portraits of, you know, your favorite hero characters or comic book characters, it's not the same as storytelling art, guys. So if you get with a real writer and you need to draw their story, this isn't going to help you. Having portfolios full of pinups and stuff like that, whatever it is, this kind of stuff isn't going to help you. You need to, it's not the same as being able to do the flow with even without words and be able to tell what's happening on the page. So you go work with a writer, you know, Steve Niles or Christopher Golden or, you know, any of those guys. They're going to hand you a script and say, you know, they walk through town, hand on the kids. The person's watching them from behind can watch them walk safely down the street, looking left and right to see if anybody else is watching them, because they know somebody's watching them. Who is it? Where are they? And that is all indicated on this page. No words. Don't trust the writer to write all that for you. You're the artist. You got to show that. And suddenly being able to draw, you know, a pretty picture of Francine isn't cutting it. Know what I mean? That's the difference.